Let's look at one example of an application problem that uses a quadratic equation. A rectangular bedroom has an area of 117 square feet. If the length is 4 feet more than the width, find the dimensions of the bedroom. It often helps to draw a picture of this type of problem before you set up an equation to solve. So here I have a rectangular bedroom. If I use a variable w to describe the width, the length is 4 feet more than the width. So I'll say w plus 4 for the length. We also have to pull in some prior knowledge about the area of a rectangle. We know that area of a rectangle is length times width. But now we're working with a length of w plus 4, and we know that the area is 117. So let me fill in what I know about this equation. 117 equals w plus 4 times w. All right, well, I have an equation here, and it even looks like it's in factored form, but it's not equal to 0. So we're not ready to solve this yet by applying the zero product property. I need to actually distribute this w to remove the parentheses and rearrange the terms of my equation. 117 equals w squared plus 4w. And now we'll say, let's subtract 117. 0 equals w squared plus 4w minus 117. This is the traditional or standard form of a quadratic equation. All the terms are on one side and it's equal to 0. So now I can solve this by applying the zero product property. 0 equals, let's try to factor this equation. This trinomial factors into two binomial pieces. The product of these last numbers is negative 117, and the sum is 4. You might use a calculator here, but we're going to end up with w plus 13, w minus 9. So when I apply the zero product property, it says the solution to this equation is w plus 13 equals 0 or w minus 9 equals 0, which means w equals negative 13 or w equals 9. Well, that's interesting. I have two different possible widths of the room, but let's think about a real world context. Always make sure your answer makes sense. I got a negative answer here. That doesn't make sense if we're talking about dimensions, measurements, and area, right? So I'm going to reject the negative answer. It's not possible to have a negative width, and only accept the positive answer. So the width of the bedroom must be 9 feet. W equals 9 feet. I can quickly find the length by just adding 4, right? The length is the width plus 4, so the length equals 9 plus 4, which is 13 feet. So I've solved for the dimensions of the bedroom, which is what the problem was asking for. The width is 9 feet and the length is 13 feet. A couple of final observations about this problem and about problem solving in general. It's often helpful to draw a picture or make a chart. You will often use an existing formula or relationship to set up your equation. You set up a quadratic equation and make sure your answer makes sense in a real world context. That's why we rejected the negative answer here and only accepted the positive one. All of those are helpful tips to follow as you work at solving application problems.